Thank you for stopping in. I hope all has been very good. I know it's been a while. A lot's been going on, and the weather was nice, so I was, I guess, taking advantage of the weather. And then I had surgery, and anyway, now I'm back. So, thank you for stopping in. So, recently, I just have to share, I went to Bath and Body Works, getting ready for the holiday season, fall and winter, and I had a coupon 25% off my order, which made it great. So I got this candle, Leaves, and it smells absolutely fantastic. So if you get there, give Leaves a try. Wonderful. And of course, I got the plug-in refills. They were $3.50 each with 25% off. So I have some fall fragrances. I also, of course, got balsam for December, for Christmas. I got a new one here too called Spice Apple Today. I plugged that one in the living room. It smells just like a clean autumn fragrance. And the little hand sanitizers that you just throw in your purse or in your backpack or something. This one here is white tea and sage. I've been trying to get this one and the plug-in for a while, and they're always sold out. So I stocked up on them. And this was my free gift, which Butterfly, which I've been trying to find since last summer, always sold out, and this was free this time. So that made it even better. So anyway, let's get back to where we left off. And Marie and Marvin were having a little argument, and she offered to give the engagement ring back, and he kind of thought that was a good idea. And then he mentioned about the ring that you don't even wear. So anyway, so Marie says he had the nerve to hold out his palm like he wanted me to place it in his hand. I was looking at him like, for real? Maybe that would be a good idea, he said in a low voice, almost like he regretted it. Then he said, no, keep it. Then he just walked out the house and down the sidewalk. I was behind him asking questions. I was actually mad and hurt. We were about 3 houses from my driveway when he started talking shit and grabbed me by my arm. Let me go. Let go of me, I told him. This fool was snatching me around when he dropped his keys. That's when he let go of my arm to try and pick up his keys. But it was almost dark out and I saw him first. So I picked them up. Before I could even straighten up good from picking up his keys, he was saying, "Give me here. Give me my keys." So I said, wait a minute, just wait a minute. Then he started grabbing at me again. I yanked my arm out of his hand and threw those damn keys clean across the street into the overgrown lot of grass that had one huge tree sitting on it. His ass got furious when I threw those keys. He ran over to the lot looking in the direction he thought his keys had gone. There was no way he'd find them. So he gave up after a few minutes and stormed around the block to Dunkin' Donuts. He ran into my brother Alan as Alan was coming out of the liquor store. Marvin rode with my brother back to the lot where his keys were lost forever. Of course, he had told Alan the story. They pulled up in front of the house. Alan came in the house laughing out loud, yet to himself. So Mama asked, "What's so funny?" He told her about the incident. She joined in laughing, then told me I shouldn't have thrown his keys in the field. And Alan said he was going to go out to shine his car lights on the lot to see if they might help. Mom and I looked out the living room window where we could see them out there across the street looking for the keys. No luck. The both of them gave up and came into the house after Alan parked his car. I was in my mom's kitchen when Marvin came into the kitchen with his disgusted sigh leading his way. I had my back to him, watching the plate I had dirtied, washing the plate I had dirtied. He walked over next to me and quietly asked, "Can I stay at your place overnight? Maybe tomorrow I'll have some luck looking for my keys." Then, of course, he told me how messed up it was that I had thrown his keys like that. I just told him he could stay and walked into the living room. Good nights were being said when Papa came in the house. Afterwards, I got my daughter and went home. While Monica was getting ready for bed, I fixed up the sofa for Marv. That nigga didn't know how lucky he was to even stay on my sofa. But anyway, back when I was seeing this guy that was in the army, he did me wrong. Made me mad or maybe even hurt. Really a combination of both of those feelings. Hurt that made me mad. Anyway, I picked up a garbage can and threw it through the window of this guy's pretty little Corvette. I threw it so hard the garbage can landed on the gear shift in front in between the car seats. He knew he had done enough for me to react like that, so he didn't even fight me. He shut his mouth and got out of my face. Months later, he asked me to marry him. I think most men don't want a flunky. They want a nice lady, smart, a little independent, a little dependent on him, and a whore in bed, but won't take too much shit from him or anybody else. I finished making up the sofa bed and then went upstairs to my bedroom. I really didn't want to be nice and let him stay here. I should have told him to sleep in his Cadillac. They had a reputation for being comfortable cars. The next morning I woke up and went downstairs with my robe on, sponge off real quick, then headed, of course you know, out the door to join my folks on the patio sipping coffee. Don't think for a minute my parents have or had the perfect marriage. They've had fights, I mean fights, and other women. But as Papa had gotten older, he mellowed out. So Junie, I pulled up in the driveway and got out the car, walked around my white Super Sport Chevelle. It was rimmed out. I opened the door for Paula. She was looking very pregnant now. She was eating all the chocolate she could get her chubby little fingers on. I dropped her off at my parents' house when I had to go to work or school because she was close to the due date. So we really had around 6 weeks until the due date, but we figured better safe than sorry. Plus, she was happy here. You see, Paula's adoptive parents had disowned her when she decided to get married, so my family was all the family that she basically had. But today we were stopping by on our way to the beach. We stopped and gotten a dozen donuts to have with the folks. We had already eaten breakfast, but Paula was craving these donuts. Besides, we picked up Taz and Monica and take them with us riding. I know Paula got tired of my little sister hanging out with us, and now we even had my little niece with us sometimes. But I will say they're good kids and quite a bit of fun. Sometimes when I had a girl over, before I got with Paula, Taz was about 4 years old. She'd be watching television and I'd make loud kissing noises because I knew that would get her attention. She'd whip her head around to see what was going on. Then my date and I would snicker because we'd get a kick out of teasing her. After she checked us out, she'd give the girl a look like, "You better stop it or else." So, anyway, she was funny. One day, my best friend kept playing and nagging her. Taz kept telling him to stop. Then he picked her up by her feet and had her hanging upside down. She yelled at him several times to stop and leave me alone, but he just kept on at her. He was swinging her around. She got mad and grabbed her plastic bat while he was swinging her and started wearing his ass out with it. He grabbed the bat, then she kicked him. He was yelling out for my mother to come and get this damn kid. Anyway, things were going good for Paula and myself. We were living in a nice one-bedroom apartment with a big walk-in closet directly across from our bedroom. The closet was where we were going to put the baby's crib and dresser. No, I don't even think that we closed the closet door. It would just stay open like it was part of our bedroom. So now, Alan. Debbie and I have been having our good and bad times, as most couples do. I didn't run the streets much, but I could be a pain in the butt when I drink. Debbie loved me, so she put up with it and overlooked it. During this time, I had decided she needed to learn to drive. I sometimes thought to myself, what was up with me and these women that I was involved with not knowing how to drive? Anyway, I had taken her out for a few lessons. It was so funny because she drove like a little kid. She kept her hands in the steering wheel in constant motion. The car was never going in a straight line, just wiggling. It was unbelievable. So I kept at her about that because the car was just swaying down the street like a snake. After a few weeks of the swaying car not getting any better, we both gave up on her learning how to drive. I couldn't dig that she wasn't getting any better, like the car not driving straight. After months of her not learning or getting much better, I gave up at teaching her. As time was passing, honestly, I started causing more and more arguments. I don't know. I don't think I know why, or to be honest, maybe I did know why. Just maybe too many reasons why. But wasn't ready to admit them. Maybe somewhere inside I was still feeling something like resenting Trina and my son not being with me. Was the drinking helping me to escape this, or maybe it was a way of punishing myself? Well, Debbie kept bringing up marriage, but I wasn't even divorced yet. I was honest with Debbie when I told her I wouldn't get married again. Not because it was a terrible experience, but I just had no desire to be married. She finally accepted this, even if she wasn't happy with it. People have all kinds of luggage and shit with them when they come into a relationship, right? It's up to us to unpack the suitcase and put the stuff where it belongs. But sometimes we don't even realize we are toting luggage, and when we do, it can be hard as hell to come to grips and get rid of the junk. Whether it was me and my boys and the cheap wine, or sometimes just me and the cheap wine at the house, both combinations led to arguments and fights between Debbie and myself. Each argument made me want to be without her, but at the same time, I did love her. So now, Marie. So Marv called to have a locksmith come make a key for his car. While they were doing that, I apologized for having him spend so much money for a locksmith. But I didn't regret what I had done. He had earned it. I went about my day. It was Saturday. I wasn't doing anything special, just a typical day. Monica and I had left home. We had gone over to my cousin's place. Meanwhile, Marvin had gotten his key made. Then he got his car and left without saying goodbye to anybody, they had told me. When I came home that evening around 5:30, I had Leah come by. She was at my parents' house waiting for me. We hung out in the yard, having drinks while listening to the radio, WBLS of course. About 10 o'clock, everybody had gone in their houses for the night. It was now almost midnight. Monica and I were laying in my bed, nodding over the television, when I saw park lights pull up in the driveway. I just didn't feel like getting out my comfortable spot to be nosy. I heard a knock on my parents' back door, so then I got up to look out the window. Couldn't fight the curiosity any further, and it was Marvin. I went back to bed with my baby. Then my telephone rang. I knew it was him calling. I was tempted not to answer the phone, but if I didn't, somebody would come over because they knew I was home. So I picked up the telephone, and it was Mama telling me Marvin's stupid ass adventure. I told her I'd be over there in a minute and hung up the telephone. Then I told Monica to stay in bed. I was going to Grandma's for a few minutes if she needed anything. I threw on my robe and went to see what was the deal. After I got over there, he started telling my parents and I, or me, how he'd gone to the bar right down the highway when he left my place this evening, just to have a drink or two. He was working on his third Tom Collins when he went to go for a dance. Then he came back to the bar to finish his drink. The next thing, he started feeling funny after a few sips of it. So he went to his car to lay down, see if the feeling would go away. If not, he'd make it back here. Well, he must have fallen asleep. When he woke up, his wallet was gone. Somebody had slipped him a Mickey and his drink and must have watched him go to his car, then followed him out there. His money was gone, along with his credit cards, his license, everything. He was upset about this, yet at the same time, a peak of amusement was in his eyes. He kept a lot of money on him. But everybody knows when you go to a bar, you don't set your drink down and leave it and then come back and pick it up and drink it, because anything can happen. And he should definitely have known better too. But I thank you for stopping by and listening in. I hope you enjoyed the story. I hope that you get the notion to click subscribe or like. Leave me a message. I will kindly reply, and I do look forward to hearing from you. And you have a good night, have a good week, and I hope to see you here again real soon. Thank you. Take it easy.